So I grew up in a wonderful part of Queens, New York City, Kew Gardens, New York City. And I grew up in a very special time, a really blessed time. We had a tremendous amount of friends. It was a place and a moment in life where there was no internet, there was no cell phones. You've heard me tell the story of it, that we really were sent out after we came home from school, and we were told to come home at 6, and that was when dinner was, and there really wasn't any way to keep in contact with us, nor was there any way for us to contact anyone else. It felt as if being a kid was actually a time that was being a kid, and it's a little hard these days with all of the way the world is interconnected to have or see children ever, or kids ever, be that again. And Queens and New York City, and certainly the era that I grew up in, just felt as if something was way different than it is now.
Yeah.
We all felt the same, and there were hundreds of us, and it was like one great big fun gang.
Yeah. So I had a similar, not in New York City, but in upstate New York. And it was a lot like that, right? From the minute we came home, we were outside. We had a creek in my parents' backyard, and we would go and find crayfish and salamanders. I was very, very much a tomboy. And I was always the youngest. So all the kids in the neighborhood would get together. And of course, I would tag along, because that's just kind of, my sister didn't love that, but that's kind of how it worked. And so I would start to do all the same things and ride bikes before I was supposed to, and swing on rope trees, swings when I wasn't supposed to, and do a lot of different things. But I love all of that, and I think that, again, that's something that kids these days, it's just different. It's just a different landscape for them.
Yeah, I will say one funny story that always rings true in my head. But I remember going for lunch after we would race down the hill. We would go to our local pizza place by the name of Danny's Pizzeria, which is still there to this day.
And you go when you go visit your dad.
You have to go. And I remember being given $1 for lunch. And I would have 2 slices of pizza, a large Coke. Then we would run to the candy store before school started again at 1 o'clock and get some candy. And if I didn't come home with change, I got in a little trouble. One whole dollar.
One whole dollar. Can you imagine?
No.
And I love that your dad still lives in that same apartment building that you grew up in. And I love that I now get to go visit and really see kind of where you grew up, and go to Danny's Pizza and kind of live and walk in your shoes a little bit. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.